And we're live. Who all do we have in here tonight? Unfinished project, always first. We've got Lars commenting on the thumbnail. For those of you who are here right at the start, that thumbnail is only 2 counties away from me in Boones Mill, Virginia. I've met the guy who's referenced on the shed, Donald Whitey Taylor, and he really likes it. He said that he would have paid the guy to do that to the shed. Danny Boyd is here. Dust Devil Brian, Barrow's Garage, and Justin Hill. Looks like we got 2/3 Idaho in here already. Frizzell Racing, Rainy Day Auto. Rainy Day Auto says she was looking for dart sport videos and found Stephen Holtz. Yes, there's actually quite a few dart sports in the community now, but the OG is the one right out there. You got to go back a while to get any video on it. Rainy Day Auto has a 74 Dart Sport L Code 360 car. That's cool. That's really cool. Do a video on it. We'll share it out. Mama M Cubed, a.k.a. Colleen, 6th Street Garage. How's it going? Dean Stevenson from the other side of the world. Buffdale Campo. Old McDonald has a car. Bigfoots and Mopars is here. Glad all you guys could make it. I figured there's enough national political talk right now to satisfy people for the rest of their lives, and it might be funny to put up something regarding local politics. It was either going to be the shed in Boone's Mill about Whitey Taylor, or it was going to be a friend of mine took a picture down in Tennessee where he lives of a campaign sign about a town council person that said Esther Helton voted for Obama twice. And then a week later, a sign showed up next to that one that said Esther Helton did not vote for Obama twice. Can't make this stuff up. But that's one he took right in his town, and the one with the shed is one I took last week. Heavens Mopars, how's it going? Well, the off season is now, and Scott always has a big project on his hands, so I hope he's thrashing away and getting it done. Pure Pontiac Garage. I think I saw B&R in here also. Rabid Transit J. Glad you could make it. I got my Rabid Transit shirt out. I was going to wear it. I'll probably wear it next week. Today I've got on my 77 Gator Nationals yellow. I so rarely wear yellow. I went in the post office today and they almost didn't recognize me. SSR Performance, how's it going, sir? Big James, glad you could make it. NSB. NSB reminds me I need to put some tires on the CRV. I sent Blake pictures of them and I said, all right, this is an opinion poll. Which is your favorite? He picked the spare, and that's probably the right answer. Mongrel's Garage, how's it going? Oh, we have a truly international live going now. We've got New Zealand here. We've got Canada here. Rainy Day, are you in the States right now or elsewhere? It'd be neat if we had 4 countries represented. SSR had a yellow shirt for Halloween, the Minions. Oh, cool. That's cool. I want a Minion in a shooting gallery. I got him downstairs. I've probably got 3 or 4 big stuffed animals I want in shooting galleries. Engine Light Garage says hello there. Danny Boyd says pipe insulation for roll bar padding. Okay. Did Deke look at the pictures I sent you, Mater asked? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. If you wind up with it or you want to send something more detailed, that's fine. Just kind of need to know what you want to do with it first. I mean, you can't just bless it from pictures. He said he would like to see better pictures of the cage. Kind of needs to know, what the chassis is more like without the panels. That's what Deke said. So One-Eyed Cat is estimating about 326 days of the No Name Nationals. I will tell you guys who are here now, I'm going to try to have the dates for No Name Nationals within 1 week. It'll be the earliest we've ever put the dates out, but it's going to kind of depend on what some other people do. We want to get them out, though, and hopefully we can do that within the week. Landon is here. Hey, all of Idaho is here now. All three of you guys. Bigfoot's with his foot greeting. Danny Boyd says Pontiac Power. Yes, sir. Yeah, this off season is kind of fun. We don't have to hit all the marks that I do in the on season with all the different things. Although those are fun too. I really enjoy those. Landon doesn't count. I don't know. I think Landon does count. Turbo Tom. Turbo Tom, are you planning to come back and bring the Model T for 2025 to No Name Nationals? I certainly hope so. Old McDonald says, was snowing here today? Yes, that is correct. That is one reason I don't live there. Yes, cool. Well, Tom, I want to ask you about something for that. So remind me. I want to holler at you something about that. I think you'll like it. Buff says we're already getting ready without a number. That is correct. There may be a number on this orange paper before you know it, maybe sooner than you think. Landon says, see if I go fix Justin's car again. Buff says I bought a car that's likely to be there. Oh, cool. So is that you gonna do content on that on your channel, Buff? Do we know what it is yet, or? Well, Frizzell, any week you move it, there's gonna be something. Any week you move, it'll be a content car right on. Yep. Bigfoot's and Mopar says snow on the windshield yesterday. Yeah, all you guys that live in the northern climates, we get we start to get reports of snow and frost, and we don't have it here. It was beautiful today. Tycast Dreams Customs is not a fan of Whitey Taylor. That's not my shed. I can't show it on here because I'm using my phone for the stream instead of my, my little Brio camera. But I got a picture of me with Whitey Taylor. I mean, he's nice to me. For those of you who don't know who Whitey Taylor is from the thumbnail, you can see on CNN, the news networks, he has the world's largest Trump super center. So imagine if there's a Buc-ee's for Trump, that's what he has. And he's quite a character, as you can imagine. But anyway, I had some business there. I got a couple listings over in that area. And so I stopped in. I'd never been in there before. It's been open for years. But yeah, it's interesting. He's actually been down to be on a live stream, but I don't really want to have a political themed live stream, although I think he'd be a hoot to have on live as a guest. And if we did it, it'd be in the off season. Mercury Z7 Fairmont Futura Coupe. Oh, okay. I always thought if I had a Fairmont, I'd want to put a Cleveland in it and make more of a street type version of what Glidden had. Kind of inspired by that. Yeah, for Zell, cold weather, we get to race year round. It's actually pretty nice here. I'll take it. It's not bad. I like our mountainous terrain a little better, but it's cool where you are too. Frizzell, are you in Star or close to it? Aren't you more on that part of the state near North Carolina? Landon says we race on snowmobiles. I'll never forget the first time I saw a snowmobile run the quarter mile on a drag strip. Couldn't believe that thing was that fast. NSB wants the cool weather. Yeah, Star. Okay, cool. I'm looking at teaching the first class I've taught in a few years, a couple of years anyway, in that area. And right now it's a private class, so we'll see if it opens up for more. We may let some of you guys know. I haven't taught a class in a couple of years, but it needs to happen. 200 cubic inch for now, right on. So you're gonna keep the inline six in the in that car, Buff? I'm assuming it's an 200 inch inline six. That was the engine in our first car when I was a little kid. We had a '68 Falcon with a 200 inline six. Jay says, I live in Wisconsin. I've never driven a snowmobile. I can't think who I was telling. I've driven a boat once in my life, and I'm terrible at it. It's just driving a boat is weird to me. And people can come from any direction. It's strange. Old McDonald has to renew a license in 2025. Well, I've had up to 4 of them at one time. I really need to renew my Illinois. But man, it's a pain. It's expensive. It's a pain. It's cumbersome. It's so unnecessary. When I go in to renew Pennsylvania, I am in and out of there in 15 minutes on the spot. Photo and all. Nothing to it. No reason it needs to be that complicated in Illinois. No reason we should even have to have them, but I digress. Off-roading occurs in all directions like boating. I could see that. Yeah, Illinois made me take basic pistol to qualify for my training requirement when I've been certified to teach basic pistol at that time for 10 years. So I'd taken the basic pistol instructor. I'd shot the instructor qualifier, and yet they wouldn't approve my application with that. I had to take the class from somebody with less resume than I have to teach it. But that's okay. I wasn't complaining, but it's just like, that's the kind of stuff that's all through their permit application process. It is absolutely ridiculous. I had a selfie on my on my Illinois CHP. Real government ID has a selfie on it. Sleds are a crazy addiction. A good one will do over 100 on one. Oh my gosh. I never even thought about that. There's things that get it on the water like a top water jig. I never even thought about that. Oh my gosh. What happened? I mean, how do they tolerate the water if you slow, or do you have to just go across the water one side to the other so you don't get submerged? Now, I really want to see that now. Oh, McDonald says it's a money scam. You bet it is. Chicago, bang, bang. Yes, sir. Chicago has a goofy rule on laser sights, which is fine because laser sights are goofy and I don't use them, but they have some goofy rules on them. Yeah, a plane. Tom is right. On a plane, you had up and down to all those directions. That is right. I don't see myself ever attempting to fly anything. I wouldn't mind getting 200 on land. I think I really wouldn't mind getting 200 in the quarter mile. No trucks on Lakeshore Drive. That is correct. Dean says it's Saturday there. Cool. Let off the throttle and the sled becomes a submarine. I'm sure it does. So, what's the farthest you've seen somebody? I guess what it is, you're driving across a body of water, right? So, you're going from one bank to the other, and you're just keeping speed so it'll go across the water. So, what's the farthest you've seen somebody go across a body of water like that? I'm sure that takes some guts. You only get one chance to get a snowmobile across lake. That is correct. That's what I would say. Skipping like a stone. Right, right, right. You can go for miles on water sleds. You can. Of course, the whole thing you saying going miles on sleds, it's like we don't have anywhere that's miles of water here. We don't have the terrain for it. The only reasonable rule on a laser sight is it doesn't melt the target. Well, you don't want the light to backsplash in your eyes because it's just too bright. It'll just wash it out. The other is I don't like training myself to look over the sights for the dot, and they give away your position. So there's a lot of reasons I don't like laser sights. I would rather have excess big dot. That I've yet to find anything better for a pistol than that. But let's just be honest. I think that reflex style and optic style sight is here to stay. They're better than ever. I'm a dinosaur. I'm going to stick with my iron XS big dot. In this species, we have plenty of miles down here, waves and swells. Maybe, yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. I can see that on saltwater. Now, that would be wild. There's somebody that would do it. Somebody somewhere would do that. Landon, if you do it, you'll go viral. Jonathan Winters was from Dayton, Ohio. I didn't know that. I had the clue. I just remember him on Hee Haw when I was little. If it's dialed in right, no need for lasers. With training, there's no need for lasers. Jonathan Reed says, I can teach you how to fly, but the FAA frowns upon it. Jonathan, by the way, I was talking carburetors with someone. I really need to go through the carburetor on that saw. It's the needle valve does not want to stay shut on it. It's I'll show you. I'll show you. But I got another tree and a half worth of trees out of my property yesterday and the day before. And so I'm getting there. I got a tree and a half left. I got to get that big tree. Part of that big tree still on the neighbors. Most of it's on mine. And it's gonna be a bear, but I'm gonna get it. Oh, which prompts this. Speaking of that, get a tree out of there. I was pulling a trailer up a steep gravel hill, taking it to the brush where you jump off the brush at the dump, and I'd never been to that particular landfill before. I started spinning and couldn't get up the hill pulling that trailer, and I had to back down to the switchback and get up. But I'll tell you what, it's fun when you're sliding backwards on a steep gravel hill with a trailer behind you. That's exciting. Tires do better if they have tread. There's some tread, some. The van would never make it up there. Are you kidding me? Actually, the only reason I couldn't make it up very well, I did make it. I just come back, pull the parking brake, cut the tires the wrong way, and goose it, and it would kind of jackknife the CRV around. Then I could go forward and make that tight turn to go down the hill, and then to the switchback, get a run at it, and come back up. That's how I wound up having to do it. Oh, Jonathan, we got it. It's just you'll see what it was doing is it was getting oil in the carb, and I'll show it to you. It's not a big deal. I mean, all those little small carburetors do it. One-eyed cat says I'm kind of here now, chatting with a buddy with a '65 Belvedere wagon. Oh, that's cool. Curious about No Name Nationals. Name's Marty. Cool. Yeah. Well, tell him to come check out the community and their channels, and he's welcome to come here and meet people and find out all about what we do. We'll be announcing the event itself the last Friday of the year, but I think as early as a week from now, I may have the dates locked down. I'm working on it. Scott's got a tree that needs to come down. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I had the storm take down 5, and I got a tree and a half left. Oh, and the thing is the leaves are still on them too. It didn't happen late enough that we would have the leaves down. Indirect connection. How's it going, sir? I almost had a Jason Falk moment on that hill. since we got a bunch of people in here, I'll show you this. So Tony's Hot Rod Garage and I are going to do one last and final run, pre-order only on these. If you missed getting the No Name Nationals 2024 shirt, the special edition shirt, that says the reason why we do what we do, we're doing one run of them. You have to pre-order at Gunslinger Graphics, and that's same price as the event basically, except there's shipping tacked on, so they're going to have to be shipped to you. But yeah, proceeds go to the No Name Nationals. We're doing one run and then it's closed. And I hear there's a bunch of orders already. So if you missed your chance to get one of these at the No Name Nationals, we only brought 24 there, but you can have anybody can order one now. But yeah, if you did want one, that's how you can get it. Now you can get any size you want to. We just brought a sampling of sizes out there. But go to Gunslinger Graphics, Tony's Hot Rod Garage's company there, and place your orders. That order is only going to be open through, I believe it's November the 15th. And that's it. What's the story behind the back of the shirt? Cope would ask such a thing. I was told one time that there are only two reasons people get into YouTube: money and fame. And I found that offensive because that's not why I'm in YouTube at all. I'm in it for the community. So I thought we'd have a shirt that reflects that. Mean Street Mopar, what's going on, sir? Glad you could make it by. Main Street, when are we going to do a tailgate rebuild on that 904 of yours that slips in high gear? I think that'd be a fun one to do. We'll do it live. What do you think? T's Good Times Garage, the best community right here. What's up, everybody? Glad you could make it, T. Mater's into meeting new people and learning stuff. Well, you can do that right here. We're glad you're here. Mater's looking at a little project. If he winds up with it, it'll be interesting. Looks kind of like a cross between a go-kart and a motorcycle and a dragster. LC Chapel's here. How's it going? Howdy, everyone. Dean Stevenson said 2 out of 3 of them bad. Well, that's the only one I care about. Got a bunch of people come in. Our last and final run of these No Name Nationals 2024 Special Edition shirts, with the reason at least I do this, and I suspect a lot of you do too. GunslingerGraphics.com. And it will be up through, I think it's the 15th of November, but when it's done, it's done. This is the last one of the original run right here. And then we move on to 2025, where we'll have a special edition 2025 shirt as well. I hope we have one every year. We're going to have lots of special things in 2025. Danny Boyd says, the community is great, but I have a certain aversion to the word community, which I can't place my finger on. I get that, Danny Boyd, but you know what? There's a lot of people who have hijacked words. I get it. I totally get it. We've defined it ourselves. Don't worry. Danny Boyd, just think of it like a community of Monopoly. How about that? Or community like Community Hospital. Barrow's Garage is the Tunnel Ram Mafia expands because eBay. Okay. Be awesome to do a rebuild. Yeah. So, yeah, Main Street. Yeah, you know what? It's not going to cost you much to do it. Cope, if you're still in here, what's it going to cost him to do a tailgate rebuild on his 904? I mean, a few $100. I mean, it shouldn't be too much. You want to get a seal kit, and you want to get your clutches and steels. I would just go ahead and get the clutches and steels and stuff. And because before you take it apart, I would just do that. I can help you get what you need to get the right parts. But if you're down for that, we'll do it. Copes is 200. Yeah, it won't be too much, and we'll get you hooked up. We'll get you hooked up with Cope Racing transmission parts, and we'll live stream the rebuild. How about that? I'll tell you what tools you'll need ahead of time, and you can do it. It'll be great content for your channel. Oh, and by the way, Mean Street, if you do that, I cannot imagine you will not get your 500 subs from that venture alone. I'll promote it ahead of time. And you know what I'll do too? I'll give Cope the link to it. Not volunteering him to have to be there if he doesn't want to be there. I get that. But I can volunteer him. I can give him the link so that if he wants to come in there and laugh and point at us, he can. Frizzell's going to be doing a C4 rebuild. Yep, want to see that? I like the C4. The C4 and the 904 are quite similar. Dean talking in hieroglyphics again. There we go. Mean Street Mopar asks, do I get a cool CRT sticker to slap on my truck? Not speaking for him, but I would assume if you got your parts from there, you could get a CRT sticker with them. So this is what I would do, Ken. I would get your seal kit. You're going to need your clutches and steels. I would go ahead and get them because we already know it's slipping. If you wind up needing any hard parts, we'll do that in another round. But I get the seal kit, the clutches, steels, and I would get a CRT shift pack, which is the shift kit for the valve body. I would get those three things. Cope, if we're missing anything, let us know. But I would definitely do those three things. And in my opinion, it's worth your while to go ahead and do a deep pan while you're at it. Frizzell says, I've done a lot of 4-speeds, but new to the automatic. Yeah, you know what? I actually kind of like doing the manual transmission. I haven't done many of them, though. The wildest one was a Hyundai Excel suitcase style 4-speed. Oh, yeah, Scott, I'm all about it. You know, I just missed a build table at the Virginia Tech auction here a couple weeks ago, and I was just sick about it. I should have bid more, but it was really, I'm not going to make that mistake again. I was looking at what they went for last time, and somebody ran me up a little bit. So if another one drifts through the auction, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get all my transmission stuff consolidated on that one bench. I'm going to put a hole in it so you can work on the pump, input shaft, and that kind of stuff. I'm going to mount my high gear drum compressor, spring compressor on it, or beside it with a vise. I'm going to get it all set up so I have a really nice build area. Because see, right now I got this giant box. I got a box that's easily twice the size of this printer, just full of transmission parts, all kinds of stuff. Like, I know you'd be asking for trouble to try it, but I could probably build a couple of 904s out of just what's in that box if I had a couple of cases. B&R's Pontiac 326 turned 8,400 RPMs. That's pretty wild. Sounds like a valve spring eating machine. Mean Street Mopar pulled the transmission out of the 74 Valiant. Before I put it in the truck, replace the rear seals and filter and pan. Yes, yeah, but if it's slipping, you're slipping and going into high gear. I'm pretty sure that was what was going on with it, right? It needs to come down, and we can walk you through doing that. It'll be fun. And it really doesn't take that many tools to do one either. Kind of a nice thing about transmissions. And unlike engines, there's not a lot of machine work, if any, that you'll need to do. One thing that helps is if you have a slab of granite and you can put some fine sandpaper on it so you can plane some stuff. But that's really about it. But I'm thinking maybe do it in maybe 3 live streams. Do one for teardown, one for reassembly, and then one for your valve body by itself. That'd probably be the way I'd go at it. Jonathan wants to rebuild the F100 transmission. Yeah, it's got a 3-speed top loader in it. So if if it ever comes to that, that's not a problem. We could do that. We could stream that one. That'd be fun. I'd rebuild that one right on the tailgate of the truck. Or I got a table that we used. We did floor paint and just prop it open. It's not a bad one to do. B&R's not sure how they did it back then with the valve train. I don't know, but guys back then would turn them up. They knew something. Frizzell says the C4 and the Cougar is strong, but when it has to go into high gears, think about it for a minute. I will tell you that C4 that's in Andy's truck, that thing hits third gear really nice and crisp. The problem is his truck is 600 and some pound-feet of torque and weighs over 4,000 pounds within a minute. And, it only gets shifted a few times and then it starts, flaring going in. But if you got that in a Cougar, it would last a lot longer. So I kind of think I would reach out to Andy on that because I know Dynamic did his drum, his high gear drum. That's who I would talk with about that. That's Andy. Andy's a C4 guy, right? Got a great upgrade sitting there. I just hope he does it. We'll see. Here's Andy's. Here's his new transmission. No, really though, I'm anxious to see what it'll do with the E4OD in it. That's going to be a great upgrade on that truck. I thought Casper and Andy was 3,600. Casper and Andy is 4,080. And still gets a little air under the front tires and runs a 683. He's got it pretty dialed in now. It just needs that stronger transmission and overdrive. Main Street Mopar says Casper will eat the interstate with an E4OD. Yes, it will. Main Street Mopar has a vintage mini bike. Has to be from the 60s. Yeah, that sounds cool. Do it. Monkey Bike was fast this year. Monkey Bike was no fooling around. Jay says I have a 78 gram. Oh, man. 78 gram Marquis with a 460 and C6. Put it in reverse, go inside for 15 minutes, and then go in. All about the ET, have to lose weight to compensate for E4OD. Well, lose weight or add a little more power. Those heads are as cast. The cam is a catalog cam. There's a lot more left in that engine, believe it or not. It should get to 800 horsepower NA easily. Wrong English asks, is the cat in the house? I saw him in here. I know he is or was here. Tim Jacobson. There we go. There's the guy with Casper-Matic valve body #1. I know the Casper-Matic will prove itself worthy to Andy, and my truck is 4,300 pounds. Wow, gosh, I didn't know your truck was that heavy. Yeah, you guys should check out Tim Jacobson. You have some videos on your channel, don't you, Tim, of the racing that black Ford? That's the truck that came up to Copes to do the development and do the testing on the valve body, I should say. And he has #1 in his truck, and it's doing great. Brazil says that Galaxy's 3780 with me in it. Yeah, it's not a light car. Indirect Connection says it was a one-wheel peel that burned a tire at wheel. Right on. Not yet. They're on Andes and Copes right now. Okay. So what are you talking about? You talking about just video your truck? You can see it on Cope's channel. It's a black Ford. It's kind of like a Lightning clone, supercharged. It's a cool truck. I've seen it up there in his shop. Jonathan Reed saying first on race. Yeah, we're starting to get a good number of Ford people in the chat. Well, Tim, I'm glad you're here. Why don't you get in the No Name 500 and get your subs together and come join us at No Name Nationals. Some fun stuff. There's getting to be a lot of CRT products at the No Name Nationals. There's more every year. Mater said, I sent that guy a message. I'd pay him $200 delivered on that chassis. We'll see what he says. It's a cool little thing Mater's looking at. It's a mini dragster. It's not a junior dragster, but it's a mini dragster, and it has a what is it, Mater? A 550 Honda motorcycle engine. Tim says that's the plan. Well, dude, the No Name 500, you can start right now. You get 500 subs, and this community will really help you. And then when you register, when registration opens for the channels with fewer than 500 subs, they're in what's called the No Name 500, the race before the race. And it is a blast. That is made for guys like you. And we have workshops to tell you how to help your channel grow. And it's just a great time. So many guys in this chat came from the No Name 500. I mean, they're all through it. DNR's one, 38 Racing is one. A lot of guys are. It's a fun experience. It was a sand dragster, and it's a Honda GB 550. Okay, sand dragster. Again, that's stuff we don't have around here. Danny Boyd flexing his vocabulary. Mexican spec should have I should have a negative number. No, why? Why would I have a negative number? Because that was last year. If I had a negative number, it could be from last year, but I don't do it that way. In fact, I would have a number bigger than 265, which is usually about where we put it out. So we're gonna have a date earlier this year, I believe. Frizzell says you have time to get 500 by the end of the year. Yes, you do. You could get exactly. You could get 500 before New Year's. Sure could. I got to tell you, it's just a lot of little things that make a difference. Tony's Hot Rod Garage is here, and by the way, Tony will be live right after me at 9 p.m. Central, 10 Eastern, whatever time it is where he is. Right after this live, Tony will be live. And since Tony's here, I'll mention it again because we want to see as many people want one of these get them. So last call on these No Name Nationals 2024 Special Edition shirts. You call it the Fame Money Community shirt. And doing one run of them one time, gunslingergraphics.com. Lars, if you could put up the link to that. I don't know if it's on the site, but I know we did a community post on it. That would be great. I'm ordering two. I think Cope ordered some. Lots of people have. It's good stuff. The One-Eyed Cat says, I graduated the second No Name 500 on April 2nd, 2023. Tony's Hot Rod Garage beat me by 2 days. Don got to working in the off season, like right now, and Don made it with air to spare, and that's why Don has a great work ethic. Danny Boyd says GMC also used the Oldsmobile 370 in the 1950s as well, if I recall correctly. I'll take things I'm glad I don't know about for 500, Alex. There we go. Tony put up the link. There we go. Wow. Right. Okay. There you go. Right to your cart. If you want one, there they are. And Tony, that's going to be up through what? November the 15th? Is that the cutoff on it? And for what it's for those of you who are not familiar with Tony's work, his stuff is really high quality. Um, his stuff is really good. He does the hats for the No Name Nationals, these special edition shirts. It's good stuff. And Lars has got it right there. Yep. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. Mexican Specs says, I don't even remember the snow. Dean says, Econoline van equipped without a clutch and sun visor. You could sell it to John Wilbur. Nah, it's all right. I'm quite good with the 85 Dodge van. Yes, November 15th. It's all on the page. There you go. So go check it out. Make a tab, but don't forget about it, because this is the last chance. A lot of people have told us they want that shirt, and we want people wearing the shirt and enjoying it. It's just there's got to be a cutoff somewhere, because we're moving on to 2025. We're going to be doing something really cool there. And he says they will all ship on or before November 27th. So there you go. And there's a link to Tony's Live after this. If you have questions about the shirt, that's a great place to ask it, right there on Tony's Live. Twisted Mopar Garage says he's been very busy. Glad you're here. Tony's doing the Casper-matic decal for the truck. It's so cool. Yeah. Tony does good stuff, really good stuff. Quality work, made in America by a Patriot. And he's right here in our community. So I love giving business to the community. When you guys buy from Gunslinger Graphics, you're helping Tony get to the No Name Nationals. And those No Name Nationals shirts, the proceeds on the shirts go to the No Name Nationals General Fund. As do anytime you get shirts or decals or anything, it all goes right in the No Name Nationals account. 38, did I see the text about the van? Yeah, I did, Ray. That's a 2-core radiator. Kind of looking for a 4-core, but I want to do a 4-core brass. If it's got a tank big enough, that's a question, I guess, for Buff Del Campo. He's the radiator guy, but yeah, that's a possibility, actually. I want it to have a lot of cooling capacity. So that thing can sit around and idle on a hot day, tow stuff. That's kind of, but I definitely want to get away from these Chinesium plastic junk radiator tanks. The tank warped on mine. That's why it blew. I got to looking at it. That thing is concaved in right off of the cleats. That's why it came off. Brass can't do that. The cap, I thought the cap failed. That's what I thought. Because the hoses did, and I figured it was the cap. No, it wasn't the cap. It was just the plastic of the tank. Frizzell says, I didn't know Tony made decals and stickers or send him out to business. I know Tony will do the design work, but regardless, reach out to Tony if you need to. He does his shirts in-house. Good quality stuff. Dizzy says, I love giving the community the business. Yeah. Twisted Mopar says, I'm totally exhausted. Well, I hope you get some rest this weekend. I'm surprised you guys even recognize me here wearing a yellow shirt, wearing my Gator Nationals 1977 Gator Nationals shirt. If it looks like an obsolete design, good. It's the same age I am. Tony's Shoes says, shoot my number to Frizzell. If one of y'all would remind me when this live is over, it's a whole lot I'm going to forget in 116 minutes and 17 seconds. Or 76 minutes, sorry. And Lars puts up a link to the radiator fail short. Yeah. It was no big deal. I mean, if I needed to, I could have fixed it and come on to No Name Nationals. It wouldn't have been a big deal to do that. I'm like, let me I don't even want to deal with it. I'll just take the CRV. That worked out great, actually. Worked out just fine. Twisted Mopar Garage says Dart Sport. Right on. Bad Tree Blake is here. How's it going, sir? There you go. Colleen can hook you up. Yeah, I mean, Colleen, if you want to do it, that's great. If you want to remind me of this live, because I just don't want to forget. Dart Sport Hang 10. Yeah, that's a pretty rare variant there. How many tires did the NNN trip take? I had a belt break in one. Had a belt breaking one and made it all the way into Sykeston with a tire that at 20 miles an hour, which is the wheel would just do this, the steering wheel. I'm like, oh man. So I just changed it to track, nothing to it. But I took some unmounted spares with me. And I started doing that because one time I was coming back from Georgia and I got two flats at the same time on the same side. I ran over a truck tire carcass. And that was interesting because I could just change a spare on one of them. The other one was a slow leak, but I couldn't get back that way. So I had enough air in it to make it into town, and I went straight to a parts store and got the spoons out and a can of starting fluid to inflate it, get it on the bead and everything. And the guys at the parts store were fascinated. I don't think they'd ever seen anybody use ether to see the tire bead, but it took me 2 tries, but I got it. It was fun. It was dusk too. Wish I'd been recording all that a few years ago. But anyway, yeah, now I always carry at least 2 spares. So I threw a couple extra tires in the trailer. I'll never complain if I brought them and didn't need them, because if I didn't bring them, it's a guarantee I would. I'd be somewhere in Timbuktu, Kentucky with a tire blown out. Yeah, so Twisted Mopar, what I'm looking for is I want a big, like 3 or 4 core brass radiator for the van, the 72 and up van. Marty showed up. He has some interesting. Oh, cool. And we just want cool and interesting people. The stuff takes care of itself. Yeah, there you go, Colleen. So if you can, just shoot Tony's number. If not, remind me. Either way, we're going to get Brazil and hooked up. We've hauled 3 loads of scrap out of there already. Oh, man, yikes. Tim's 72 Demon. One-eyed cat. Where's Marty's? What's his handle? I've not seen him yet. 440 motorhome radio. Yeah, that would be perfect, BNR. Yeah, that would be ideal. I want that van to wind up at about 384, 390 cubic inch 318. That's what I'm thinking. And I've got some options on the heads. I'm either going to do some 308 heads or some 302 heads. Could get Froggy and do some Magnums, but I'm kind of thinking I want to keep LA heads. But it's going to have a long stroke, the right cam, a little bit of head porting. I think it'll make a great tow motor. I used to do a lot of work in AutoZone's parking lot. I've done all kinds of stuff in parts stores parking lots. Although I think my favorite, they gave the guy a high five, Dodge Omni doing a clutch in AutoZone's parking lot in Christiansburg, putting a clutch in the parking lot in a front wheel drive. Can I get one of those aluminum Champion radiators? I probably could. I actually have a Griffin aluminum 4-core road course radiator that would would really fit the bill. I might, you know what? I could even just use that. As I thought about putting it in my dark swinger, I have no idea why I would ever need to do that. This radiator even has on the top scribed into it where all it had raced before they retired it. Brake Stuff Club 1109. Who is the owner of the jacked up Black Duster Street Machine? Would like to see more? That is Dust Devil Garage. Dust Devil Garage. His name is Brian. That'll make his day that you know what? I'm going to do this. And this is at 49 minutes. I'm going to save this and send it to him. Right there. So later on, I can tell Brian, hey man, someone was asking about your car. Tim says, I don't know if you or anyone heard that the NMCA, NMRA has ceased operations. Yes, they have. They jumped the shark a while back. So, hey, Dust Devil, scan up or scroll back about 1 minute on this live. There's a guy that wanted to see more about your car. Brake Stuff Club, you just woke him up. There he is, Dust Devil Garage. He's the one that has the Duster. Cement Surfer. How did you take a picture of my shed in the yard for your thumbnail? Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know what? Actually, watch your election returns. You might have to go online to do it because I won't because it's local. But see how he does. See how Donald Whitey Taylor does in his election returns for mayor. He just got arrested a few days ago too. So we'll see. It's a town of 274 people, so anything can happen. Tim, yes, not everyone likes no prep. I'm not a huge. I mean, no prep is okay, but it's not my thing. I like a traditional, well prepped, well run track that doesn't have 50 people on the starting line. That's much more my style. I got Dizzy's old intake, by the way, which may find its way on the van. It actually looks like it'd be a good one for the van. Dust Devil says that's me, break stuff. Cement Surfers, Judas Priest reference there, breaking the law, breaking the law. Twisted Mopar Dennis says, I'm going to tear into the 360 for the dark tomorrow. Cool. You're going to make some content on that or do it live, man. That would be cool. Put up a link, what, to your channel, Dust Devil Brian? Yeah, one of the mods, if you don't mind, stick up a link to Dust Devil Brian's channel. Although I got to say, under Dust Devil Garage, you're awfully easy to find on a search. It's not a problem. Yeah, so one of the mods, when you get a chance, stick up a link to Dust Devil Brian's channel. We changed the steering gearbox on a 70 Mach 1 with headers, road race car, and a hotel parking lot. Yep. Some kids brought us a cooler filled with beer to watch us work. I helped some guys do a little bit of stuff in the parking lot of the hotel there at Carlisle, and that was interesting, but it's all good. Hey, BMC Gar, that's my friend Bruce. Come for a visit, Bruce. We'd love to have you, man. Glad to have you here, and I'd like to come down and see you too. I was thinking about you a couple days ago, by the way. Actually, I was thinking about you yesterday because I went and paid my insurance and saw our mutual friend there. So I'd love to, though. Thanks for coming by here. Had no idea you were lurking on my Friday night live streams, but you're certainly welcome. Pizza Hut parking lot engine swap. I really wanted to do that, and I still may. Yeah, man. Thanks for swinging by, Bruce. I appreciate it. You're always welcome. Lurk, lurk, lurk away. My haters lurk too, so you're in good company. When are you heading north to Wisconsin, Iowa? Man, I don't know. It's not the time of year. I see, man. Thanks, Bruce. I don't know, man. It's not the time of I actually may be headed up toward Copes here in a couple of weeks. So if we do, I'll be there, probably do a live with him and do some cope-tastic things. And I'll send you guys some content, of course. Busted Radio Chris taking a break, stopping in for a minute. Yeah, Chris is busy, man. And I'm hoping that when Chris wants to do something with the 904 for that Monza, I want to get in on that. I've already asked Cope about it. He knows I like those things better than he does. I mean, if there's 904 going on, I'm there. Izzy's done a few engine swaps in the dirt under an oak with a chain hoist. Yes, sir. I've done some dirt engine swaps. Yes, I have. The worst is gravel. I would rather have dirt than gravel. I'd rather have pavement than either. I'd rather have concrete than pavement. And I'd rather be somewhere else than have gravel. But if you got to do what you got to do. Brazil's driving a Dragon. Well, cool. Mons is getting a 904. Exactly, Chris. I know it's getting a 904, but what I'm saying is when it comes time to do that, if you would, give me a heads up. I want to get in on that. I want to go up there and do some 904 stuff because I always like anything with a 904. You know, I like that. So Homer is gone. Will do. Yeah, thanks, man. Cardboard creepers for the win. I like cardboard creepers. Although, if I'm having to work on gravel, cardboard's okay on fine gravel, but if it's a coarser gravel, a thin sheet of plywood is even better. Yeah, condolences. I have a feeling that Chris was the executioner, though, so. Or very thick cardboard. Yeah, you could use the thick cardboard like from the kind of boxes they ship watermelons and pumpkins in, that really thick corrugated, like 3 times as thick stuff. Dizzy's been watching, says to Chris. Chris got his hands full. Yes, he does. Chris likes to bite off a lot and chew a lot. He'll get it done. One-eyed cat wants a piece of Homer's door skin for Buffalo Brian. So Homer version 3.0 is coming to life this winter. Sean O'Brien's messing with a fussy 3D printer. Yep, a friend of mine is all about those things. He's built me some things with it, though. Yeah, used floor mats work great. Roll them up and throw them. Yeah, they do. They do. I've used it. I'll tell you what, a floor mat in a junkyard is just one of the best things ever when you can find one. You just got to never let yourself think what all has been on it before you laid down on it. That's the only thing. If you can refrain from doing that, they're great. Much better than the gravel in the junkyard or the mud. Cardboard absorbs the rust chunks falling off. Yeah. I have a plastic SUV floor mat. Yeah, no, see the carpet floor mat, when you're trying to find a junkyard cushion to work on so you can work under the car a little better, floor mats are the best. But they will not stop a jack from getting pressed down into the ground. Although a lot of junkyards now do not allow you to use jacks to lift cars. But the old school yards that still let you do that, the floor mat won't help you there. And cardboard lets you slide, which is true. Buff says we're still cleaning parts with your fuel. Must have been some bad gas. Heavens Mopar says my Challenger is no longer a storage rack for all that cardboard for the wife's weed barrier for her garden. Your Challenger? What's with the Challenger? I thought you were doing a Charger and Duster. He says, Don, I'll have plenty of parts to give away. That's cool. Yeah, Chris, Homer autographed one of the No Name Nationals banners in the pits. And anyway, it now hangs on his shop wall. Sean's going to see how it does with regular octane. Cool. Probably on the dyno next week, just waiting on a jet in the mail. Okay. The foam pads are good when you're lowering the cab onto a pickup truck with the bed in place. I could see that. Yeah, I've done that. Of course, what I've done a whole lot more of is get the bed off of them for doing fuel pumps. And the best way I've found to do that is if you have a carport, back the truck under the carport, put a ratchet strap in the stake pocket on each corner of the bed, and you can just ratchet strap each corner, lift the bed up enough, Roll the truck right out from under it and do your fuel pumps and roll it back. It's the best way I've found to deal with that. If you do it that way, you can do it by yourself. And you can do it without damaging the bed, because most people try to do it with 4 guys. There's always one of them that doesn't get the memo, and didn't wash the crickets and bugs and grass out of his ears before you told him when to lift it. And one guy will let that corner dip and tear up the paint. But if you do it that way, you can go really slow, get it by yourself, roll the truck out from under, no problem. You will, though, have to reposition the ratchet straps one time in the middle to clear most tires. Scott's working strictly on the house to finish up next year, I understand. Blue Grit will use a 4x4 and 2 people at each fender to pull the engine. You can, yeah, sure can. There's a lot of ways to do it. B&R says cylinder head porting is advanced in the Pontiac world. It's advanced in all worlds, B&R. Office chairs are surprisingly strong too. Yeah, they don't want people suing them for falling through the chairs. Yeah, they are. Jay's used an oak tree and a tow strap to remove pickup truck beds. Yeah, oh yeah, we've done a lot of crazy ways of doing it. Make a ramp board so you can get them to roll up over the tires. Done that. Now, I just don't know why they do that and make that so complicated, but that's how they do it. Back to work for Chris. Later, man. Thanks for coming by. Good luck on your winter projects. Just get a running start snatch. Well, yeah, you could. I wouldn't. You got gas filler necks and sending unit and wires, everything in there. A ramp board. Yeah, you can do it that way. I told you my favorite way, though, is just find a carport. Because that carport will have those trusses going across the top. You can even do it at a 45-degree angle, too. If you got enough leads, you can do it at a 45, and it'll lift that bed right up. And 45 might be a little bit much. Maybe a 30, because then it gets to where it's pulling too much of an angle. But if you can get it about 30, it'll do it. And you don't even have to ratchet against it. If you have help, just have somebody hold the weight, and you can zip those straps right up. In fact, what you could do is have your buddy lift each corner and then just shorten the strap right there and do that one at a time. And you wouldn't even have to ratchet anything, because there's not much weight on it at any corner at that point. Even on we did it on an 8-foot Ford bed that had dual tanks. So we had to do 2 pumps. Or you can do like these guys, just cut a big hole in the floor of the bed. I always worry about guys doing that, cutting into the tank itself, although fortunately most of those, when they do that, are plastic tanks. They don't cause themselves a massive fire. Mohawk 62 is here. How's it going, sir? Don is looking for Marty's Hot Rod Garage. Yeah, if each of you guys can recruit a friend that wants to get into the No Name 500 or already has their 500 subs, that'd be great. I'd really like to see. So I'd like to set a goal for registrations for this year, just to help this event stay stable and help pay for itself and everything. On Sunday, Scott is trading the steel ramp truck bed on the 70 Dodge L700 for a ramp truck setup. I'm excited about that. Okay, cool. It's a 70 L700. That's a big truck, isn't it? Sean's secret dream car is a 90s lowered red S10 step side. You told us that? You could do some match racing with JB with that. Custom bed floor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want one of those L700. So cool. Yeah, it sounds really cool. One time I had a chance to buy a D600, a 71 D600. I want to say it is. Had a 413. No, 361. It was a 361 with some kind of gigantic 4-speed in it. I don't think it was a T18, but it could have been. or no, an MP435. I think it was something bigger than that. And it had a 2-speed rear. Man, the more I got to thinking about how horrible that was going to be on the highway, the more I thought, cool truck though. Could have got it dirt cheap too. A client, he had to get it moved. Danny Boy says the 389 became the 400 and the 421 became 428. Okay. Sounds like a modest bore increase on both. Sounds like about 40 thousandths or so on the 421 and maybe about 50 or 60 on the 389. Is that about right? Cement Surfer Russell says, cool info, Danny Boy. Well, glad you're here, Russell. We hope to see you back at No Name Nationals in 2025. Me and ours talking about the last year for closed chambers on those. It's hard to find people want to do anything with old iron heads anymore, though, because these Chinese aluminums are just so popular and so cheap. Didn't Cadillac make a 425? Yes, I believe they did. Yep. They made a 500, a 425. I think those were kind of the same family. I think they were different strokes on the same engine pretty much. We don't see enough done with the Cadillac 500. And there's some guy somewhere who sells performance parts for 500 Cadillacs. I remember seeing him. Lost a lot of family this year, Russell says, this year and last. Yeah, man, that's never good. Never anything that you want to deal with. But I'm sorry to hear that. We just hope that everybody stays healthy in there and 2025 works out good for you. We'd like to see you. Studio looks and sounds great. Well, I'm streaming from my phone, which streams in a little higher resolution than the Brio. I want to make some upgrades this winter, and probably it's just brighter here because I'm wearing yellow for once. Well, Wisconsin is the Cadillac man. He's on YouTube. Okay, there you go. I know there was somebody that did that. Yeah, that's the way it goes. The longer we live, the more of that we will be dealing with in our lives. That's why I really appreciate every Friday we have together to do this, because let's face it, there will be days when not all of us will be here. Would make a cool ramp truck. Mid 60 C30? Yes, sir, it would. Oh, wow. So Blue Grits found a 60s mid 60s C30 Chevy dump truck, make a good ramp truck. It's in St. Louis. It's shown a short on his channel for $1,000. Sounds like a screaming deal. Guns and Gears. Glad you could swing by. Cowboy Car Crushings at the mall with the daughter. He says, wish my wallet luck. You're in the wrong place for that, man. I have a feeling your wallet's going to wind up like some of those cars you put in the hopper. Yeah, Cowboy Car Crusher. He's going to walk in there with this much, and then the wallet's going to down to a third of its original thickness. And the gods of the crushers are gonna they're gonna laugh at you. Excuse me. Flat and busted, indeed it is. And analog knowledge will be gone, right? Marty's Hot Rod Garage. Well, hey man, it's the first time I've seen you in here. Well, welcome. I know that you're a friend of Don's there, and we welcome you to the community. This is a fun place. It's where we hang out on Fridays. See, probably the biggest cross section of our community members right here, hanging out on Fridays. And even though a lot of us have monetized channels, uh, I think none of us are famous. The back of our shirt this year kind of says it all. This is what we're in it for right here. We're in it for the community. That's what the No Name Nationals is all about. So if this is what you like and hanging out with these people and having that one place a year where you can see all of them in person, you're in the right spot. If someone would could put up the link to Marty's channel, that would be cool. If any of our mods are in here. Still a no name here. Still a no name, yeah. We're all no names when you think about it. Of course, that's it's kind of a misnomer. I mean, you no matter if you build a name, you're still welcome. It's Blue Grid had a friend who was 60 and was the picture of health, fell off a ladder, and that was it. That absolutely happens. And don't think I wasn't thinking about that climbing way up on that ladder, cutting that tree too. I had that ladder tied off, and something about having to brace your hip on an aluminum step ladder way up in the air running a saw is just, yeah. So when are you doing the countdown for the days? I actually may have a date for the fourth annual No Name Nationals as soon as next week. When does pre-registration start for next year? The last Friday of the year. Pre-registration will be open. Although getting the dates sooner, we might be able to announce the event sooner, but we typically don't want to announce the event till the end of the year in case we make changes a little here and there. So that's ongoing now. One of which you can clearly see is Dallas and Shane doing that. I don't know what to wind up calling 333 class or something, but when that comes to fruition, that will be one of the things. So we typically like to announce everything on the last Friday of the year so we can talk about that, little changes to the classes, stuff like that. Rabbit Transit Garage is reminding everyone that he is number one. He will probably have that number until he dies. Which is a reminder to all of you guys, if you want to get your number back, please re-register before Labor Day to get it. If we're talking about when to register, please register in January. I would love to see 150 pre-registrations by or before Memorial Day. I would be thrilled. After 3 years of the event always being there and always delivering what we say, you guys know that you can register early and it's still going to happen. But that registration goes to help us. Because what I really want to get where we're not dependent on the gate at all, and that's going to help the event and help us do more fun things. I would like to bring back the movie this year. I think that would be great. Cowboy Car Crusher says he can't sleep in. Well, I'm glad you swung by here. And you know what? I would like to have you on a live sometime. I had mentioned that before. So, yeah, man, reach out. Let's do it because this is the off season. This is the perfect time to do it. I think the whole having a career of crushing cars, it comes with a lot of great stories and interesting stuff. And I'd like to have you on a stream as a guest. We've talked about it before. Cannonball Run. You know what? We got that. If we get our pre-registrations early in the year, how much is the price raised? Probably going to go up a little bit. In fact, I said I was going to do it this year, and I just pushed back doing it. But I already know what it's going to need to go up to. It just needs to go up a little bit. Although that said, you know what the best way to stabilize the registration price is? Getting as many people registered by Memorial Day as possible, because that changes the forecast of how we pay for stuff. You know what I say, the event's got to be fun, safe, and pays for itself. And it has, but I would love to see the money earlier than late. When somebody registers, right before the day before, I'm glad to have them, but I couldn't use that to project the budget. What movie? I've got a short list because I really worked hard on this list for last year. And there's certain things we have to have. Um, One of them, well, lots of things, like you can't be on moratorium for showings, because we were going to do American Graffiti, and that was the problem with it. We were coming upon, I think it was the 50th anniversary, and it had a moratorium on showing it. Couldn't get a license to show it. I could this year. Um, Two-lane blacktop. I don't want to do anything that's dark or R-rated, from the 70s, all those. I want to stay away from that. We're a family-friendly event, and those, weird type of Peter Fonda movies where stuff blows up and drug use and all that. They're cool movies, but not for no-name nationals. But we do have a short list of really good movies that I think will be great. Pre-registration, yeah, pre-registration. I'll tell you, it just really helps, because if I could get 150 cars pre-registered by Memorial Day, that changes a lot. I could prepay so much more stuff without being dependent on the gate and merch. I don't have to worry about rain, and it's never been a problem. It would be something that would be helpful to the event. So there talk about a ton of slant six callouts for 2025. If you start it, there will be. How about that? Danny Boyd wants a bunch of people watching different movies in their pits. Well, y'all go for it. What I'm talking about is we do a big movie on the lawn. And I'll tell you what, I will not spring for a big movie on the lawn if people don't want to do it. So the original Gone in 60 Seconds. Like I said, I've already worked through and vetted a short list, and you got to find out who has the rights to it and all that stuff. And I've kind of got some rapport going with Swank Motion Pictures, for example, but I think 20th Century Fox has its own, and it's just how it works. Dakota says the original is 30% plot and 70% action. I wish that was true of Bullet. It's the opposite, and that's being kind. Any Mad Max movie? Yeah, I get that, but understand a lot of these movies guys like are not good for an event with a bunch of kids, but there's several that I think would be really good. We got a short list worked out. The big thing is we need people to turn out for the movie. If you want the movie to come, you got to turn out for it. Turnout was really light last year for the movie, and that's why we did not have one this year. I love it. I think having a 40-foot screen, that sound was great, the picture was great, the weather was great. It was perfect. The only problem really is a lot of people are so beat and tired from traveling on Thursday. Well, see, I get beat and tired, but not for Thursday, because I've been there since Tuesday. So by Thursday, I'm actually able to relax a little bit after Lambert's. Oh, McDonald, that is not true. They are the company that has the licensing rights for lots and lots of movies. That's who I had to deal with for Smokey and the Bandit. And they were fine to deal with. I'll just call it like it is, though. They're just one of these people. We got our hand out, and we want our cut. The track at No Name Nationals is 8th Mile, which I think for our event is perfect. Lambert's cruise earlier would help with the movie, right? But then how that you have so many more people that don't get to tech. And then when's your dinner hour? See, that's weird too. There isn't a great place for it. There really isn't. So I get what you're saying, 38. One thing that'll kind of shape that a little bit is when people are getting there. People tend to get there earlier and earlier. And so We're going to look at the percentage of how many people, what percent wise, have gone through tech on Thursday and by what time. That's going to make a lot of difference. Because if they don't get through tech on Thursday and tech gets cut off even earlier on Thursday, what that's going to mean is they're missing track time teching on Friday morning. Vanishing Point, yeah, I'm not sure that one. Again, neat movie, but no. Couple episodes of the Dukes of Hazzard Carnival Thrills. That I don't know. I'm not opposed to that. Do my best to be. Yeah, everybody who's early to tech is a help. Although we opened tech earlier than ever this past year, and it was great. It really did help. It alleviated a lot of that bind on tech. Steven says 3 cars this year. Right on. Just Vopar Joe's in the house. Happy Day of the Dead. Let's remember Levi's LS engine. Speaking of that, Joe, this is out of Levi's LS engine right here. Joe told me that we need to make a change because we have had the worst oil down. And the first year, the worst oil down was perfect because that connecting rod flew out of Big Block 402 Stephen Myrick's truck right in the middle of the track and oiled everything down. And Levi threw a connecting rod through the windage tray that stopped at the pan. He grenaded an engine and never had an oil down. So it's the biggest oil down trophy. Who wins it? Joe has a leak at the transmission vent and actually wins biggest oil down. So we got to change it. Next year, that's going to be biggest kaboom. And Levi's already donated the parts for it. So that's how that's going to work. Biggest kaboom. Since so many darts show up dual with Dennis Weaver, might not be bad. I could go with dual. It's got that little bit of creepy, but there's nothing gory or anything like that about it. Dakota's timeout. How's it going? Hot Rod is a good family friend. Yeah, maybe we already got a short list worked out though. I had a top 3 to top 5 for 2023, and it was going to depend on how the licensing rights and all worked out, but it wasn't bad. They were pretty easy to deal with. They got a lot of weird stuff you got to do when you apply for it. Bear Rose just ordered his No Name Nationals community shirt. Says get yours while they last. You got till November 15th. Get your order in before then if you want one. And after that, that is it. Don't even ask. Tony's doing one more run of them. But they're cool. They're really cool. And then we're moving on to 2025. We've got cool ideas for it too. Don's expecting to break something. We'll see. Yep. 6-pack with Kenny Rogers. Yeah, there's good possibilities. Yeah, I have a whole list from top to bottom of ideas kind of vetted about. I inspired Stephen to send Joe a message with some LS fun. Yeah. I will say this, though, for those who don't know, Levi got his car back together, and before the end of the year, he threw out a 610. So Levi is now 1/10 from running in the 5s with that heavy Laguna. I'll give him a lot of credit. Couldn't pull it off the No Name Nationals, but he did get it back together. Within a couple of weeks, he went a 610 somewhere. We should make our own movie. Yeah, you want to fund and produce that sucker? Go for it. 38 says, I always think I'll break something that hadn't happened yet. I'll tell you what, you got to give a lot of credit to Ray. Ray's bringing a pair of 59 Chevys down, driving them from Nebraska, and doesn't break anything. Yep. My friend that rhymes with Michael Gilding went a 5 flat last weekend. I think it was a 5 flat .4. He ran less than a half a second from getting in the 4s. And he said the run, there was a lot left in the run. The run wasn't even that great. So, yeah, Yielding's going to get a 4. I already told him, I said, Now, let me show me his time slipping the fours till you got more bars in that cage, but we want him to come back. Michael Yielding's a good dude. And what I'm really hoping to do next year with those really fast cars is do more match racing. Um, that class has the possibility to just take a turn into that world of small tire craziness, and I would rather see more match racing with those fast cars. Yep, we're all content creators who make movies every day. Buff, do you put your movies on YouTube? Twisted Mopar Garages, I'll be driving the Dart Sport there. Right on, man. That movie that you're talking about there, Old McDonald, that's not the Highwayman. I think is the one Blake likes from Bad Tree that has a 60 something Barracuda. Another Dart Sport. There you go, Rainy Day Auto. Rainy Day Auto, you need to come to the No Name Nationals. Where are you based out of when you're in the United States? Dakota says it could be about how Dallas takes his low dollar car and takes out the heavy hitters and wins the drag racing event and saves the farm. Remember, I'm going to clip this out and send it to Dallas at 126. He'll like that. Colorado Springs, Colorado. Well, that's definitely doable. I mean, T comes from Utah. We got guys that come from Idaho, Utah. That's such a Dean Stevenson comment right there. Yeah, it's worth your while. Come on out. Get to meet the YouTube community in person. White Lightning. Looking to be back in 25. Yep, T's going to be a threat in the bracket in 2025. I think the bracket's going to be more competitive than ever next year. Joe went to the finals this year. She has some cool cars, yep. 38s would be good to meet you. Yeah, sure. Terry's coming back, bringing fire with him. Yes, he is. Unfinished projects in the house. The Duck. Yep. I don't know what he'll bring out. Jaron Long says he wants to come back, said he had a good time, said he might even do a burnout car or something. So we'll see. The Duck got a little hurt on that big wheel stand it did. He said it was a fresh nitrous bottle. It really hooked up. The Duck went for the sky, drug the bumper, got all four wheels off the ground. They hurt some front struts, but I'm sure they've got it all back together and good now. The car, yeah, there's a lot of things that'd be good, but you want to pick that right balance. We got some ideas. The big thing is I need to know if there's going to be enough people there who want to come out if we do a movie on Thursday. And we might be able to move it up a fuzz, but just a little bit because we want to keep that tech line open as late as we can. Blue Grit Garage cut a lot and still had 44 minutes from No Name That. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot there. Standard bore 340. Well, okay. Those aren't easy to find, but good deal. Lunch break for unfinished project. Oh man, are you working second shift today or something? What does that come out to? Was a great video, yeah. Where's the next event going to be? It's going to be, should be Sykeston, Missouri, and it should be about that same time of year. We should have a date on it next week, and we will announce the event the last Friday of this year. But it's worth your commute. It's worth the ride. Get to meet all these folks in person. And there's the link to Rainy Day Auto's channel. Dean Stevenson says you're 10 minutes away from drive time violation unfinished. You almost have to be able to read emoji shorthand to understand, Dean, but I get it. I think Dean's ancestors probably invented hieroglyphics. Started on the Silver Barracuda today, the River Rat. So is it going to be a 2-car team for just Mopar Joe with Drew next year? Is that the idea? Dean talks like Thumper. Doesn't sound anything like Thumper. Joe, you got to make sure Drew gets his car out there so we don't have to put a cardboard stand up of it in the pits. I have no doubt Kevin would enjoy making that. Dean Stevenson says Thumper is much more clever. I don't know. You guys are both very clever people. Levi just got back from putting stainless fuel lines in the tow rig. Can't get the truck to prime, but I'll address that tomorrow. Well, okay, you got the lines in. Dean says I have an accent though. Yeah, I'll say you have that upside down accent. Unfinished Project says, Dean, you are my single source of truth. Unfinished Project, I could have sworn you were a CNN guy. I thought that's where you got your truth. This chat's fast moving, got up for me. Oh, well, yeah. This is not one of those you can go away for 10 minutes and be on the same people on the screen. No, it's lively here on Fridays. Dean is super smart. Used to drive Richard Holder. Dean is super smart. Yes, he is. No doubt about it. That dude is smart. I'm really hoping one of these years Dean can make it to the No Name Nationals. I know it's a long way, but we'd all love to meet him in person. Dean, fly in. Fly in. We'll get somebody to pick you up in St. Louis. We'd love to meet you. Glad we didn't rush this year video tomorrow. Well, cool. So be on the lookout for that on Just Mopar Joe's channel. He's got a video tomorrow. They're working on the silver car. You're definitely going to want to see that. And Joe, by the way, get with me early on tech on it. So make that go. I'll tell you what, it goes a long way if you can email pictures and whatnot and get that out of the way early with tech so that Deke can look at it. It makes it go smoother when you actually get there. And that's actually, if you notice, the Bad Tree Productions guys go through tech really easy every year. And that's because they're in contact throughout the year and Deke sees what they're doing. And by the time he gets there, he can just look at it, verify it, and go on. So it actually will speed tech up to do that if you get on the stick early like that. Sam Mountain Ballistics says, I can't hear anything of the tube mill. Yeah, I guess if you're listening from work. Hunter, I hope you come back in 2025 and bring Dakota with you. We missed you guys. And Levi says he'll chip in some money for you, Dean. So there you go. I might throw a couple bucks in for Dean too. That's a long, expensive flight, but we'd like to have him. Heavens Mopar says, meet me in Spokane and we'll fly in together. There you go. There you go, Dean. A lot of people want you there. Rainy Day Auto says, is it just me or there's a lot of project cars for sale? There's always a lot of project cars for sale. Hopefully next year we'll be able to afford to work on them a little better. 38 says, I'm thinking of starting a cookie factory next year. Yep, I can see that. You make good cookies. You brought me a little tin of cookies. That was really nice. I thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Okay, no, Jay, gosh, I hate that he went and told people that. The deal is that he's got to renew his cert, and it's there's a question of whose cert he's going to renew. It's not a problem. I want to make this very clear. Deke is going to be teching cars at the No Name Nationals in 2025. Okay, that's established. He thought because of the way his cert was running out this fall that was going to be a concern, but it's not. I already told Deke we're not going to let that be a concern. We're going to take care of him. So he wants to come back. I already told him he can come back. It's done. Deke will be there taking cars for No Name Nationals in 2025. So put that one to bed. Yeah, he enjoys that. He likes coming down. We take care of him, and we want him back. The worst part of it, though, is the racket that is SFI. That's the worst part of it, having to deal with that. Yeah, 10-4 great tier. Right, yeah, right. So if anybody else says that, just remind them, Deke will be here teching next year. Obviously, every one of us is a heartbeat away for being or not being somewhere. We all understand that. But, provided nothing crazy and unexpected happens, I fully expect Deke will be at the Nottingham Nationals. The same thing can be said of me. Deke sure helps with getting the cars right. Yes, he does. And he watches your channels. And if you can send him things throughout the year so that you don't have to try to litigate everything right there in the tech line. I wish more people would make use of that. It would be very helpful. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat is here. And it's 9:37, which is right at her time to slide into the live. Will there be another Dale Senior this next year? Okay. Yeah, even if he doesn't tech, even if Deke weren't teching, I can't imagine he wouldn't want to be there. He has fun there, but he will be teching next year. He's just trying to deal with SFI and the certs and all that stuff. It's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. It's like it's a racket. Unfinished project got his brake stuff in from Rock Auto. Cool. Tim 72 Demon still lurking, I see. Tim, we hope to see you at No Name Nationals in 2025. Seems like we're all making our plans already. It's still a buyer's market for W350s. It is. I don't have a link for Deke. I think like Deke 57 or something is his handle, but don't worry about it, because what we'll do is we're going to put contact info up for him when we have him on a live stream. We're going to have him on a stream early in the year this year, so that hopefully our regulars will be starting to get their stuff together. Rainy Day says, Tim, I daily drive a 71 Valiant currently. It's not a racer, it's a slow ready car. That sounds really cool, actually. Levi said Dale died from an open face helmet. Saw a car go not slow with one. Yeah, I know that. I mean, there's some things you just can't anticipate. People do, and they do them, and we're working with that. Well, the open face helmet, yeah, but his seatbelt broke too. But really, there was no reason to be having an open face helmet like that. Technician Troy, how's it going, man? Glad you could make it. Old daily cars are the best. Yes, they are. Now, I know you drive your 59s down to Sykeston each year, Ray, but what is your daily? Technician Troy, how's your wife doing? I know that you're still dealing with the aftermath of that wreck. How is your wife doing? Sean O'Brien is posting a short showing some of the rust coming out of my tank and cleaning several full tanks of gas. Yeah, okay. Never heard the seatbelt thing. Yeah, his belt broke. That's why his chin hit the steering wheel and it killed him. That's exactly why. Levi, were you even born when that happened? I remember it well. I was living right over on the other side of the highway from here when that happened. I saw a lot. I saw the race live. The one blue is a daily. I use a pickup. The 59 can only go through so many fields. Okay. So the blue one is a daily. That's cool. Levi's excited for Troy to be there in 2025. Yeah, right on. Now I hope so too. Troy's a great guy. Won People's Choice in 23. Hope to see him back in 25. Threw down good the burnout pit too. Nice guy. Joe said, "How'd you do a trick or treat, Levi?" Joe's got the comment of the night. Yeah, he's 7 months old, exactly. Yeah. I don't know how many trick or treaters we had here. I got in at about 7:30 or so, and I bet I drove by 50 of them just at that time. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we had over 100, but I wasn't here. I was cutting up a tree. If I didn't know what kind of day I was going to have, I would have just scrapped it and come on back the day before that morning so I could. Cause it's always fun. Jethro and I last year gave out candy to trick or treaters. We set up right there. So one day a year the van really is a free candy van. That's Halloween. It might look like it 365 days a year, but Rainy Day says, "What's a C20 project?" Probably meaning a 3/4 ton 2-wheel drive Chevy truck project. Dr. Goes said No Name Nationals was the best event we went to in 2024. Cool, man. Exceeded his expectations right on. We were glad to have you. We want to hope you come back. It's what it's all about. Dr. Goes very community oriented. And as obnoxious as this is, I'm going to plug it one more time on this live. If you missed getting your No Name Nationals 2024 special edition shirt, one more run of them going to be done at gunslingergraphics.com. You can get it from our friend Tony. He makes these. One more run of them, and the ordering closes November 15th. Everyone needs at least C20 or 30 project in the backyard. My friend Jared has a C20 project in his backyard. Needs to happen. And he will be officially out of the military, I believe. Well, I think he's here the next couple of weeks, going to have terminal leave, and then he's going to be out. So he can get on that truck. Rainy Day says, I don't speak Chevy, Mopar only. Well, that's okay. If you're going to speak one automotive language, that is the one to speak. Yeah, Unfinished Project says K30 or nothing. Yeah, there you go. He's a four-wheel drive kind of guy. Although I think the C20 C30s are right on. Good tow vehicle. See, T says that's the best language anyway. That's exactly right. Buff says after No Name Nationals, Dr. Go backtracked after my wreck. It helped us out a lot. Here is a link from Tony. So if you want that shirt, there's the link right there. Um, ordering closes on the 15th of November. So they're really cool shirts. I think Tony knocked it out of the park, as he always does. Tony does a great job. Levi'll speed her up a hair to be able to hang. I got to tell you, Levi, before he ran his 610, I think he and Joe were dead even. That would be a really good match right there if Levi can keep his stuff together. See, it's not a posi, it's a sure grip in Mopar speak. Yeah, there's a lot of things you need to be able to speak Mopar. Like sure grips and torque flights and torsion bars and all of those good things that we Mopar people must know about. Tim72 Demon, he said, putting in a new 350 in it, so I have a tow vehicle for No Name Nationals in 2025. Right on, sounds great. I think we're going to have a bumper crop of participants for the No Name Nationals in 2025. That's what it's kind of looking like. I kind of figured as much because there was so much hard luck this year and we still had a great turnout. So I think that if we get our normal percentage coming back and the hard luck people come back, we're going to have a bumper crop. Stephen Holtz needs to talk to Cope on Monday for information. If you're going to call the shop, best time to do it is about 5 o'clock Central, right in there. That's kind of like, not speaking for him, but that's usually when he likes to, his telephone consult time. There's a link to Cope's channel, Unfinished Project put up. Thank you. Sooner I finish the Chevy, the sooner I can get on the Demon. Yep, there you go. Torsion bar is an unfurled flat longitudinal coil spring. Yes, it is. 616 at 112. He did that at Sykeston. Yep, I remember that. Levi has now been 610 though, Joe. And you're both looking for your first 5. There's Cope. He wakes up and comes to life. He was all weekend at Bernie's until that link went up. Unfinished Project really is a good moderator. Rainy Day says, I can't talk too much about GM. I'm about to attempt a 700 R4 rebuild for Fred and just to say I can do it. Have fun. Those suck. So the Sunshell looks like a big trash can for a reason. I'll tell you though, Rainy, JB's little shop has done some 700 R4s. He might know some tricks for you, and of course Cope does. I know he's just done one recently in a vehicle they have over there. Joe says, if only I had a Cope trans brake valve body, all of my dreams would have come true. Be quicker. I really do believe there's a little bit to be had in the thing launching with the suspension loaded instead of off the foot brake. The break the sun thing, he won't go into reverse. $700 for it. Let me tell you the best way I've found to deal with those is there's a dumpster, and you just have to get it up shoulder high. And I mean, yeah, I know, Tony, they're not all that bad, but they just, I don't know, they always fail in high gear, and I can see Buff liking that. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And the thing is, here's the irony of it. I'm a 904 guy, so you would think I would like the $700 4 more than say the 4L80, but I don't know. I have bad experiences with them. I've swapped a few of them. Gleason Works torsion differential. Okay. I don't know what that means. Torsion bars make great pry bars. Oh, gosh, it hurts just thinking about it. I'm sure they do, but I wouldn't want to nick them up doing that. Unless you got a junk one that's already bent. And even then, I'd paint a big red mark on it so people know not to use it for anything. Kim Fixes Things is lurking. Thanks for joining us. Buff says I'm going to have to learn about C4 Ford transmissions now. I like them. I like the C4. It reminds me of a 904. The C4's actually got some things that are pretty cool, like a detachable bell housing and the way the input shaft goes in. And although I think I like a 904 better, I like Chrysler's governor system instead of that modulator valve. There's about 20 laying around here. I can totally see that. Jay said, I snapped one in a parts car, 68 New Yorker. It was such a good pry bar. Someone stole it. I can totally see that. 4L80s hurt. Ask me how I know. My fingers were pulsing like my heart. Well, you didn't smash your fingers with one of those things, did you? Kim says, anyone going live along the route from Nashville to Dallas? We're doing a road trip very soon. Okay. Anybody live along the route from Nashville to Dallas? I don't even know what route you take to get from Nashville to Dallas specifically. Never done it. Two Hacks Jeff, welcome. I just got done machining my 302. Still need to hone it. Fingers crossed I'll get my 283 done tomorrow too. Yeah, the grass does not grow under Jeff's feet. That guy never hardly sleeps. He gets a lot done. Steven's doing 2 C4 rebuilds. Well, there you go. If you want to learn about C4s, he's going to be diving into it. So you go through Little Rock. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Stop in Brinkley. You're welcome. Mailer lives just south of Dallas. Yeah, I knew you were in Texas somewhere. Evans Mopar says, Dad has a torsion bar out of a Cadillac. Best pry bar ever. You know what? You people are making me want to do that with a junk torsion bar. Tim took the TH400 in the C20 and had a local transmission shop put in a $700 4. Ooh, took a 400 out, put a $700 4 in. Rainy day did a C6 in auto school. Not sure I could do it again. Yeah, you can. I mean, just keep your sub-assemblies together and all. Although I got to tell you, Cope is a madman. He just takes all that stuff apart, throws it all in a basket indiscriminately, and he knows where every single part goes back. But I guess after you rebuild your first 1,000, you can do that. But for us mortals, we just put them in sub-assemblies and redo them like that. Unfinished product, because there's no junk torsion bars. Well, if they get bent, too bad to use, I guess. If they get bent to the point in a wreck where you can't, get them in and out when you fix the damage, then yeah, that would be a junk one. Suex Jeff says Cope is a genius. He's a very smart guy. As is Jeff. Jeff is too. Got a lot of smart people in here. This subset of the broader automotive community is a bunch of smart people. We got a lot of talent in here. We really do. Like Racer Ray there and Blue Grit. Dean is super smart. We have a lot of smart people. Torsion bar, trunk and deck lift boot springs. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Mopars use those. Wendy says, I'm smart. You know what that reminds me of when you say I'm smarter, Wendy? It reminds me of that movie Diamonds Are Forever when they're riding in the hearse. And the guy says, I got a brother. It reminds me of that. Joe says those LS truck guys turn torsion bars into Carolina squatters. I saw that today. I saw a truck running around, a Carolina squat truck running around here today. That's one fad that can't die fast enough. Tim says the TH 403 speed with the 410 gear was winding at 55. Yeah. I don't get why people beat up on torsion bars. I think they're awesome. If you can't get it out with a pry bar, yeah, right. They've left it loaded. They should come out without too much ado. I've got a puller tool that I've made, but it's really hard to get on there if you got headers. There's not much to it. The way I like doing it is a lot of people sit here and pry against the K-frame. I'll try that if it's just really light. But if I feel any resistance, I put a nut on the end of the pivot and I tap that really lightly with a heavy hammer. Light taps with a really heavy hammer and it will walk it out of there. Izzy says the squatted trucks look like they're taking a crap. It looks utterly ridiculous. But, whatever they want. I just don't want them to be unsafe. I'd imagine it'd be hard to see out of one of those things because you probably can't see the road 50, 60 feet in front of you for that. I don't know how. And then plus the guys with that Carolina squatter usually lay them back hanging from the wheel while they drive anyway. They were already doing that before they did the Carolina squats. How do they ever see what's going on in front of them on the road? I would think that would be kind of dangerous. I would think it'd be possible if you were in dense enough traffic and not paying attention that a car could actually get between you and the car in front of you and you wouldn't even know it till you hit them. And with some of the more exaggerated trucks especially. Dean says he knows not to bite the oxygen tank. Okay. Colleen says they outlawed the squat here. They did. Doesn't mean people won't do it. And I'm not into the government beating up on any subset of the automotive world. I mean, from a freedom standpoint, I stand behind those guys. I just still have the right to think it looks ridiculous. And I think there are some legitimate reasons why you wouldn't want to do it from a performance standpoint or safety. Yeah, so indirect connection says you can use a clamp from bicycle handlebar. I actually used U-bolts to do that were the kind that were flattened, like go around your U-joint, because what you don't want to do is put any nicks in them. So you don't want to damage them because it gives them a stress point to break. Sean O'Brien's procrastinating doing the float level and 3 carburetors. I can understand that. Mohawk says the squatted truck squat from all the Bud Light in the bed. There we go. That's an excellent comment right there. Find Marty's Hot Rod Garage. You may be surprised. Yeah, Marty was in here earlier. Hope he comes back. Too many accidents like you described. Yeah, they can't see what's going on. How could they ever see a bicycle crossing the street in front of them? If that bicycle's not paying attention, that truck won't even see them. Those guys probably cut their field of vision in front of that truck in half. Rob's robbing streetcars. Howdy, everyone, and John. I'm not part of everyone, apparently. Not in Rob's world. Rob, Halloween is over now. So are you relaxing today since your beloved holiday of Halloween is over? Hey, Tony's Hot Rod Garage, if you're still in here, let me know because we will hand off whenever you're ready. Dougster just came in here, it looks like. Glad you're here. Yeah. So Blue Grit drove in a Lotus Elise, and out the side window, all you see is people's lug nuts. I think they'll be sitting right on the ground. Indirect connections picked up a third poly. Cool. Dougster, glad you're here. Yeah. Barrows doesn't like the squatted trucks, how they kind of a cheap imitation of those desert trucks. I get it. Tony says, I'm here and setting up a new shirt release for John Cope. He'll be live in 5. Cool. Well, we're going to go about another minute or so here and then make sure to go over to Tony's Hot Rod Garage. He'll be live right after this. He says live in 5, so we'll stick around for 5. Only acceptable squatted truck is one that's overloaded, Danny Boyd says. I would agree with that. Although I wouldn't want to overload it. I'd rather have a trailer or take 2 trips or whatever. I thought they lifted both ends and it was just super heavy in the back. I doubt those trucks even haul loads of bread. They're I don't know why people do that. I really don't ever know what the appeal of that look was for the desert racers. With a trailer and a Mopar on the trailer. Right on. In the 50s and 60s, hot rodders put spring spacers to get it up in the front. Yeah. BNR asks, and since it's 2:01 and we're already past our time, and I'm not afraid of running people off, your predictions for November 5th and 6th into January 6th. I'll tell you this. I don't believe any of the polls because the polls are all lies. Here's what I do believe. Right now, the Vegas money line on Trump is -1. I just saw this today. -140, I think it's -140, and it's +160 on Harris, which means Trump is favored to win according to Vegas. And Vegas gets it right far more often than any of the polls, because the polls are there to try to psyop people and make them believe things that aren't true. And the polls are there for people who are actually trying to win money. So they take them more seriously in that respect, and they're more honest. So the Vegas money line is still showing Trump favored, but it's only about a 5-point spread right now. So in my opinion, just my opinion, you can get better info from the Vegas odds and money lines than you can from these hack lying polls. Unfinished Project said the fix is in, and it may well be. But here's the thing about that. If the fix is in, Vegas will have an ear to the ground on the fix too. See, they factor that in because, again, all they care about is the money. They'll factor a fix into that. And they have shown a gap close in the last few weeks. Now, if CNN said that, I would never believe it. I would just think it's yet another lie. But for the bookmakers to say that, that's because they actually know something. Supposedly accidentally showed election results. Who knows? I just know with this many people voting early, what scares me is that we run a great risk of having an election that can be tampered with once all the votes are in and have time to do it before the election. That's what I don't like about early voting. Busy says he's going to lose by 12 million votes. Won't happen. On no planet. 12 million. You're just talking about some popular vote thing, but I'm saying I think Trump's going to win the Electoral College. That's why I'm voting in person. Me too. I always vote in person. I always vote on the day. With Blue Grit Garage, also, the more people vote in person, the fewer people whose names the early voters can steal too. It's a two-way street. But in my opinion, I like voting on the day. I think if we get to where everybody votes early, then it's going to be so much easier for the crooked people to fix it after the fact. That's the problem. Barrow says we need to go back to election day instead of election month. I agree. We should have election day. Remember, we used to have all these judicious little exemptions for people so they could vote early. I think that's a mistake. I really think that's going to be a big part of the fraud. Dust Devils thinks Trump's going to win the popular vote. If he does, that'll be a big deal. All right. Tony's going live. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up here. Anybody have any last things? Because otherwise, we'll see you over at Tony's Hot Rod Garage on his channel. If you have any questions about the shirts, the last run of the Money Fame Community shirts, ask over on Tony's. But with that, thank you guys for coming out. Been fun tonight, as always. Got more fun stuff coming in the fall. And I will see you all again here next week. Take care.